Just take it easy on the Scottish accent. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Watch Collective 2 podcast. My name is Ahmed Gaudat. I'm your host and one of the Watch Collective 2. And today I have a friend and another watch enthusiast and a collector. I have Hafs, aka Caffeinated Horology. Thank you so much, Hafs, for joining today. I know we have been planning to do this episode since, I don't know, maybe 1 month ago, right?
No, it's longer than that.
Longer, huh?
It's at least 3 months. We've been talking about it.
No way.
Yeah.
And I think we planned it, we booked it, and then there was the whole storm was here.
Yeah.
So again, thank you so much for joining. I'm really honored and glad to have you here today. Maybe we can start with a quick brief about Hafs in general, or Hafs as the collector. It's up to you.
I mean, first of all, thank you for inviting me onto this program. It's an honor. It's a privilege to be, in your company as well. I think the best way to start it is how we met, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then I can talk about myself.
That's a good story.
We met, I think I was selling a Seiko watch.
55th anniversary, if I'm remembering correctly.
I had bought that from the UK.
Yes.
I'd posted it online, and then you reached out, you were interested in it, and you bought it, and then you introduced me to your Instagram account.
Yes, I still have this watch, by the way. I love it. And I'm not gonna sell it because it was the reason that we met. But yeah, I mean, you are known to buy and sell a lot of watches.
Yeah. This is the problem with me. I'm renowned. Like we were just discussing as well that, I can't keep a stable collection, but I love my watches and I love how it keeps on evolving. And I might move into one brand, explore it, buy what I need to buy, and then move on. So I'm not a flipper. But
No, you're not. I know.
More of a kind of a collector, lover at heart.
But let's touch base on how the watch collecting journey with you started, because you're taking it very seriously, my friend. And there must be a very solid reason. You've been doing this for a long time, so maybe you can give us a brief on that.
Sure. So as far as I remember, it was around about the age of 7. I was given a watch, I think by my father. It wasn't a fancy watch, as it wouldn't be anyway. I think it was like some comic character watch.
Okay.
And I had been given that, I think, for my birthday or something, lost it after one day. And ever since then, I was kind of fascinated by watches. But my first real entry into watches was the fake watches, believe it or not. And this was when, I think I just turned the age of 10 or 11. And, we used to travel quite a lot to Spain, Turkey, went a couple of times to the Far East, Thailand.
Yes.
And, I ended up buying fake watches, regretfully. But that's what got me into then Rolex and, AP, Patek, and the other kind of big brands out there like Omega and so on.
And talking about fake watches, because to be honest, I never bought fake watches. I always bought watches that I could afford at this era, So when I was not doing any money, it was G-Shocks. Later on, it was something higher and then higher and then higher. And I know that the whole, including you, including yourself now as a collector, all the collectors are against this concept, which is 100% correct. We all despise this. And you see YouTube videos, people buying fake watches, smashing it up. All right. But how was the experience? So is buying a fake watch give you any kind of pleasure, even if it was fraction of what the original would give you?
Oh, it did. Because honestly, when I would wear the fake Rolex, I remember it was like a Jubilee bracelet with diamonds, I think it was. That I felt like I was wearing a real Rolex. And it got to the point where I was telling people, that's a genuine Rolex. And then someone actually said, no, I need to see it up close. And they looked at it and they worked it out that it was fake. And that was, I think I was at the age of 15 by that point where they had found out. So after that point, I made the decision, okay, I'm not going to buy any more fake watches. And ever since then,
And then the start of the real collecting happened.
I think I was 17 when I bought my first luxury watch.
Which was?
And it was an Omega Seamaster quartz. So I didn't realize that was a mistake until afterwards. Someone had looked at it and said, oh, how come that's not automatic? Oh, it's quartz. And then they started saying, oh, that's not as good. It's substandard. I know there's lovers for quartz watches and also for, manual wind, automatic. So what I did is I ended up selling that. Typical. I sold it on quite quickly. And then I got myself a Rolex. I didn't get one Rolex. I got 3 at one time.
No way. So you're
But that was at the time when the Rolexes were much more cheaper as well.
Yeah, but you moved from like fake watches into buying 1 Omega and 3 Rolexes.
Yeah, that's it. That was within maybe the space of 1 year. In the space of about 1 year, I bought that plus 3 Rolexes as well.
And 3 Rolexes was what?
It was the GMT. It was the Sea Dweller, stainless steel, and then there was the Diamond Datejust. And I think the total cost in the UK at that time, it was £6,300 for the 3 of those.
But you went big still,
Yeah. I mean, in terms of market value at that time, that's what it was, brand new. They were selling at those sorts of prices. But to go in like that, I didn't end up keeping those for that long because I had put all my money into it.
Yeah.
And then needed the money and then had to sell them. And then that's kind of one big regret that I have. I wish I'd kept at least one of those 3.
We're gonna dedicate time for regrets. I know you have a lot of regrets, but that's the good part about Rolex, right?
Yeah.
The Rolex that you have, it's liquid money.
Yeah,
and it happens with me. It happens with everyone, right? You put money in a Rolex in 30 minutes, you're gonna be selling it, getting cash, and doing whatever you need to do. And this is something which is not in much brands other than Rolex, right? And then after the whole 3 Rolexes, what was your next stop?
So the next one wasn't a luxury watch per se. It was, I don't know if you've heard of it. There's a brand called Lynx of London.
No.
So they're out of business now.
And it's very hard to give me a brand that I haven't seen.
I know, but basically, long story short, it was like a square watch, similar to, say, the Cartier Santos.
Okay.
And it had a mother of pearl dial. It was a quartz movement though. It was a mother of pearl dial. It was diamonds around the edge. I was fascinated by diamonds at that time. And I bought that for the equivalent of dirhams, let's say 8,000 dirhams.
Okay.
But it wasn't valuable in the sense of being able to sell on. I mean, I ended up keeping that and I think losing it over time. But the point is that I ended up buying that one thinking that, okay, diamonds are worth more. If they're on a watch, it's going to make them more valuable. And then slowly, I started kind of getting into other, brands, other watches, slowly over time.
And that was a UK-based company, yeah?
Yeah.
So it was a micro brand.
Yeah.
But very expensive for a micro brand.
Yeah. And the thing is, they used to sell cufflinks. This was a sterling silver watch, by the way, as well.
Oh.
The one that I'm referring to.
Nice.
But the thing is, it was a nice brand in the sense of they had a wide range of gentlemanly things that you could use, accessories and so forth.
And then it looks like it's a spin-off of a jewelry brand. So
yeah.
They went heavy on the precious metals and diamonds. As Hafs the collector, I've never perceived you as a bling guy, and you're like really into subtle things, And I know that you like limited editions, and we're gonna talk about this as well. Imagine I've not known you for years. I've seen your collection evolving, like a lot of things going and a lot of things coming. You know?
That's it.
But maybe we can touch base on you collecting a lot of luxury pieces, Omega, Rolex, micro brands, which is not cheap, and then getting deep into Seikos, which is the key things. So for me, when we talk to each other, every collector anyway that I deal with, he's branded in my mind as something. You are the limited edition Seikos. I do not think about any of the other pieces, right? How did this happen?
So the Seikos, I think, during the the watch craze, that big bubble where prices just went through the roof. So for me personally, I wanted to buy watches that were kind of fun, but also limited. You're not going to see them on everyone else's wrist because Seiko is quite a common watch. You find them amongst a lot of collectors, and they're a great watch to have as well. And I think that tied in with when I had bought Omegas before. So I used to have like the Omega Tintin, the Omega 35th anniversary Panda, the Japan Racing Grey Dial. So I had quite a few of those, and that's kind of what lent me into Seiko. I was thinking, hold on, I can buy a really good limited edition watch, which 500 pieces, 300 pieces for, you know, a few $100s, and play around with it, change the straps, and then, you know, if I get bored of it, sell it on.
And even if I lost money, lost the one piece, I'm not gonna be like crying over it, you know?
Exactly. And Seikos are so easy to kind of shift. I mean, you've got to wait for the right buyer for key pieces, but they're really easy because of the price point as well.
Yes. And one of the collections that I've seen with you that I've never seen with anyone, the Seiko rowing blazers. And even the day I saw it with you, I was like, what is rowing blazers? But the models were amazing.
They were. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I don't know if you remember, but you were missing a couple of pieces that I kept like telling you, come on, man, like
complete the collection.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to complete the collection for you. You know? How did you even stumble upon this?
I think it was just through research, like looking at what limited edition Seikos are out there, which ones are the most collectible. It was just through research. Ultimately, it wasn't through discussion. And when I had identified that there are some key pieces, one of which were the rowing blazers, I thought to myself, you know, I want to get one of these. And I looked at the SRPG 49, which is the checkered rally dive, or I think it's called. I've got it here.
This one.
Yeah, that's it there. So that was kind of my first, I would say my first real limited edition Seiko that I purchased. And there's, you know, 500 pieces of those in the world. Yeah,
and for Seiko, the 500 pieces is very, very limited. I remember the one I took from you, the 55th anniversary. It was limited to 15,555. I mean, come on, who limits this number, you know? And this was how many pieces, how many like models in this run?
The whole set? 11 over 3 key time periods. Okay. So they had like phase 1, then phase 2, then phase 3. So phase 1 had the SRPG 49, that one. They had the SRPG 51, and then the SRPG 53.
Only 3 pieces, the phase 1.
Yeah.
And phase 2?
Phase 2 was 4, 888 pieces each. And then phase 3, same. So 4, 888 pieces each.
That was it. There wasn't the most recent collab between Seiko and Rowing Blazers was
last year. There might be another one this year. Yeah, you don't know. I mean, that's how fun it is, you know, in the sense of we're seeing a lot of collabs between brands and you know, watches and, you know, and so forth. But that's what I love about not only Seiko but other brands where they collab with each other.
Yes,
I'm a big fan of double branded dials. And so that's that speaks to me for that reason.
And the Rowing Blazers, at the very beginning, it's a fashion, it's a clothing brand. Right? I have you ever bumped into it as like, have you seen any of the clothing?
No, to be honest, I didn't even know what it was until I stumbled across the watch itself. And then as I read up on it, the owner, he has a degree in archaeology, which is the same as myself. And, you know, he was fascinated by the different colors and so on. So as you can see with the range of watches, they're all different colored dials, and that speaks to me. And that goes back to your point where you were saying about you never thought of me being like a blingy person, but
no.
I do like my subtle watches, but I think the colors do speak to me in a different way than say diamond. I'm not a fan of diamonds anymore on watches.
He changed, guys. But to be honest, all the models and the colors and I mean, this set of limited edition, for me, it's extremely unique. You know, so you better not sell it. I'm just telling you. If you sold any, and you might have, just buy it back. It's really valuable. I think it's really valuable. But Hafs, when we talk about the pieces and the stories and the regrets, maybe we can start with either the regrets or the stories, up to you. But I know that you have a lot of regrets.
Yeah, I've got one big one. I've got 2 actually, but I've got one big one. Okay, so I don't know which one to go with first. Let's start with both of them are Pateks. So I used to have the Patek Aquanaut. I think it's the 5167. You know, in stainless steel.
Yes.
So I actually bought that from the dealership from Ahmed Siddiqui direct back in 2013. And I kept on harassing them, calling them week in, week out. Is it coming? Is it coming? And eventually, I think they gave in after about 6 months and I ended up picking up one brand new. So fast forward, let's say 2 years, I ended up selling that. And a couple of years after that, prices started to go up. until, as you saw, during the peak, they were like 250,000 dirhams,
250,
350,000. And I was going, oh my God.
At the highest for this reference number, I think it was 320, the highest I've seen. And then, but still it was extremely high. But why did you sell it even? It didn't click?
No, it clicked. I think at that time I needed the cash. I think there was some sort of payment that was due, and that was the one that gave me the cash.
That was beefy enough.
But I sold that cheap as well. So I remember the retail of that was in dirhams, about 70,000. And I ended up selling it for like, I think 50,000 dirhams at that time. Yeah.
Oh my God.
They weren't as desired as they are today.
Yes.
But that's one regret. The other regret is the 5711. So I had the opportunity to get that reference from London back in 2014, white dial. And
which is discontinued. So 5711 on white.
Yeah, and I regret not getting that, because I said to the guy, look, I'm happy to wait a couple more years if it means I'll get the blue dial. And he says, look, it's 50-50, it's up to you.
I think the white is still more expensive now.
Yeah. That's another regret. It's always going to be a regret, because obviously you always look back and think, oh, I wish, I still had that in the collection. But I do regret selling my Kermit. So, the 50th anniversary. I think it was the right decision though, but I do have regrets on that. Daytona, I've obviously got the Panda reference, the discontinued ceramic one. Yes. But I do regret selling, my first Daytona, which I bought from here. Not because of value or anything, just because it had its own story. Yes. And we connected with it in a different way. So I should clarify that to everyone, that when I have regrets, it's not about the financial perspective. No. It's more of, there was memories with each of those different watches, and those memories now are gone with the watch.
Yes. And it's about the relationship between you and the piece itself, not the model. Because after all, if you needed money and you're selling a piece, someday you're gonna be having the space to buy another one, but it's not gonna feel the same. I tried it once, it didn't work much. And you recently sold the Tintin. I couldn't believe it when you were selling it as well.
I know. I didn't need to sell the Tintin, but I just felt like
you were upgrading.
Yeah,
you were getting this one.
Yeah, this one. That's the AP.
Yes,
15300.
Yes, and I know that you were selling that. I like the Tintin so much. Not very much. But it's a really cool watch.
And it's got a good story behind it as well.
Yeah.
And all of the Omegas that I had, amazing pieces, but they're the most difficult watches at present to shift. If you need cash quickly, you might as well give it for free. Basically, it's not an easy sell.
Yeah. No, it's not easy.
And I think those sorts of watches, anyway, giving justice to them, they need to be sold in the auction houses, to be fair. So something like a Tintin, Japan racing dial, those should be sold in an auction house where true collectors will be after those.
Yeah, I've been to one. It was Sotheby's. They had the first actual auction in Dubai, and I've seen not Tintin but Schumacher. So the Schumacher, it looks like Tintin.
I used to have that one as well.
Oh my God, that's really nice.
Yeah.
That is really nice. What you bought and sold? How many, man?
so many.
Yeah,
I've had many watches, but that one was my entryway to the Tintin.
Yes.
So I bought that and I thought, oh, that's nice. And then I saw the Tintin. I thought, oh my God, that's even nicer, But I couldn't get one because at that time it was a bit more expensive. So I went into the Japan Racing, which is the grey dial. It's a beautiful, beautiful watch. And then I decided, you know what? I've seen the Tintin now. Wow. I think I want to upgrade to that. And then I end up getting that. And it's just constantly ongoing. But I get bored easily, unfortunately.
Yeah. I know. But so which was the watch that stayed with you longest?
Ooh, that's a hard question. I don't think I've got. As of present, the SRPG 49 is probably the longest. So this Seiko,
this one,
the checker bezel. Sorry, that one has remained with me the longest so far. But as you can see, I don't tend to keep watches too long. They tend to kind of move forward.
You still, and sometimes you want to buy a watch, and you want to hand it over to your to the next generation. I think I have my piece, which I'm gonna be, giving it to my daughter or maybe a son later on. I don't know. And do you recall the Tintin story?
I know it's somewhat. I mean, I might be wrong, but what I do understand from it is that the Omega, they made those dials, and they were about to release them with the actual rocket
Of Tintin.
of Tintin, and last minute apparently they weren't given the permission, and so then they had to kind of make a decision on what they do, and they decided to make these watches without that rocket. And it says I think 1,500 made, some say 2,000 made. It wasn't numbered, so it's an unnumbered limited edition. But I do believe that in the future that has some serious collectability.
Yes,
going for it.
Starting now, actually, it's very very collectible. But Hafs, you don't buy Microbrands at all, right?
I've been looking into it as of recent, but no, not as of yet.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. See, look, I was watching Sylvester Stallone's video, the other week, where he's going to be auctioning his watches. And, he made a good point at the start of that video that, one guy asked him the time or something, he gave the time.
Told him $50.
Yeah. And I think for me, obviously watches need to be fun. It has to showcase, your persona, let's say. On the same token, I think when I do wear a watch, I want it to signify my achievements as well, and kind of where I've gotten, in life. I don't use it as a tool to show off.
Yeah.
It's more of, I've managed to kind of do well in life, and this is a result of it. So for Microbrands, they don't speak to me, because sometimes maybe the movement might be not at the level that, when you compare them to say Seiko or other.
Actually, most of them are using Seiko NH34A.
Yeah, that's the issue, for me. Like, it's like they're adapting it. And I would love to see a Microbrand, which I know there are some, where they make their own movement, like from fresh. And they've got something fresh to offer dial-wise. See, when I look at a watch, that's what sells it to me, not the movement or, what's it made from. It's actually the look of it. How does it look and feel on the wrist?
Yeah.
So if you ask me about like specifics on watches and movements, I'm the wrong guy. There's nothing I can tell you, But if you ask me like in terms of looks, I'll say, oh yeah, that's a great looking watch.
Yes.
It fits nicely on the wrist. I love the color scheme, X, Y, and Z. So that's why
I think there is another reason for you not going into Microbrands. I think because you buy and sell a lot, man. And the thing is that Microbrands are not really sellable. If you're gonna get a piece, actually nobody knows if we posted it on the groups or whatever, nobody's gonna be 90%, they're not gonna be knowing the brand itself.
True.
And if you're getting it for $1,000, you're not gonna be able to get $100 or $200. This is the problem. So the value with the pattern of your collecting journey, it's not fitting. But I think, again, I'm a big Microbrand guy.
And I love some of the Microbrand watches you've got in your collection.
Thank you so much.
Honestly, you have got an incredible collection.
One day you're going to come to my place and I'm going to show you like all of it.
Hopefully.
Big
and I'm looking forward to that as well.
But the thing is that they offer like different things, I like a smart concept of a watch, right? I cannot buy an MBNF. Right? I love an MBNF. I would love to have a perpetual calendar Evo from MBNF. This is my Grail watch. But I can look into other crazy things, Microbrands, which offers not your usual kind of watches, like not two hands and second hand. And I don't like boring watches, let's say. But you got a point, and you're a guy with couple of very, very good pieces as well.
Thank you.
So maybe we get back to the pieces with stories, sure. Right? Which pieces hold value or story for you?
When I say story, I think the one that has not necessarily financial value, but more of kind of a value because obviously it was a gift, is this one here. I mean, you don't mind if I hold it, do you?
Yeah, I hold it, and I'm gonna put it on the screen as well.
So that's the Snoopy Seiko that came out last year. I think they made about 9,000 odd pieces, 8,900.
Limited. You have to add limited edition.
Limited edition. They
Say
should just
2
put a
million
number.
pieces. Limited edition.
They might as well 100,000 pieces. Anyway,
Limited edition.
but I like this one because it's got that kind of panda look to it. And but also I got this on my birthday in the UK.
Your wife got it for you, right?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, so basically, like I had told her, look, I'm planning to kind of get back into like collecting watches again. I'm going to put, some time and effort into this, and I'm interested in getting this one to start with. So I already had the SRPG 49 Seiko Rowing Blazers, the rally diver, and I thought, okay, let me get this with a few other pieces, and slowly I got into it. But this one has a lot of sentimental value. It's one that I'll never sell, purely because it's a gift, and you can never sell a gift.
Okay.
Never.
We got a commitment from you on video. that
Never,
you're not gonna
never
be
to be
selling.
sold, never to be found on Marketplace or anywhere else.
But you are big in the Seiko like side of watches. What do you think of the quality in general?
They have their, quality control
Flaws.
issues. They have, but at that price point that you're paying, they're fun watches to have.
Yeah.
You can bash them around and you don't need to worry. My main issue though with Seiko, and I just wish that they would look into it, is the glass. That's my main issue.
In terms of what, anti-reflection?
Yeah, well, I just wish they had, like, say, sapphire crystal. Happy to pay a bit more, because that's just mineral glass, which easily scratchable.
Yes.
And I just wish they would have that, something like that, similar to like the Rolex, the Daytona.
The Daytona.
Sorry if it's a big review.
But the thing is, again, coming back to the microbrands thing, in a microbrand, you're gonna find Seiko movement, sapphire glass, and a crazy conceptual kind of. I'm gonna get you into this sooner or later, but
I'm sure you will.
It's not sellable. Again, just warning, But I just want to know, how do you see your collecting journey going? Do you see yourself like switching watches like now more often, or you're gonna be changing the direction and the strategy?
So right now in my collection, there's about, let's say there's about 35, 40-ish watches at the moment. So I've sold a few over the last few weeks. I think I've come to the realization that I need a small collection and not a big one. So I'm definitely not someone that can have a collection of 100 pieces, 200 pieces, and I know of people like that. One of them sat in front of me. No, I've just come to that realization that there has to be some key pieces, and I'd rather have around about 10 pieces that are like really meaningful. They've got a story, rather than having 40, 50, 60. So I think to answer your question, moving forwards, I think I'm going to, consolidate the collection once again, and then try and kind of diversify it in terms of different brands. So I've had Tudors before, sold them.
I love it.
I want to get another Tudor again, and I'm very interested by the pink chrono. Impossible to get.
No, not really. I mean, I think you can.
At retail, it's difficult. Unless you know someone.
No, I don't. I don't have even a Rolex account, man. I buy everything secondary. But you like it.
You can get that interesting.
It was vibrant,
Yeah, and even the Inter watch, the Inter Milan, I think it is, the limited edition.
Yes.
That's quite interesting.
It's a Black Bay 58, no?
Yeah.
I had 6 at one point in time. Now I have only 2. The black ceramic and the Black Bay 58.
Right.
I cannot imagine myself living without these 2 watches.
No, so I had the
Navy.
Pelagos 39. I sold it because it was getting scratched easily because it was titanium. I don't regret that one, but I do wish it stayed. But I don't regret the sale of that one.
Yes.
I think that any watch I've sold has had
its own reason.
Time and reason to kind of move on.
I remember we were like out together, right? And I was like, man, why don't you have like a watch account on Instagram? And then you can tell the rest of the story.
Yeah. No, so thanks to you. So I had, it wasn't as big as it is today, but I had a fair few watches. You saw them.
Yes.
You took a few photos of them, and you're the one that encouraged me. Look, man, why you start, your own Instagram channel? Put daily shots or whatever it is. So I actually left it alone for a couple of months. I started the account. I think we came up with the name together. It became Caffeinated Horology. And then I remember putting a couple of posts up and then leaving it as is.
Yes.
And for like 2 months, nothing happened. And then I think at the tail end of December or somewhere in December of 2023, I put my first post up, which was the AP.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started from there.
The thing is, the reason behind me telling you so, because I found you have a very unique collection in terms of, I mean, I'm not talking about value, because all over Instagram, YouTube, you name it, all the social media is full of RMs, Pateks, all the luxury watches you would ever think of. But nobody knows a set of Seiko, which is a very known, affordable and attainable brand. And nobody knows a certain limited edition, which is, I think it's very collectible and it's very beautiful, like very colorful, very different. And maybe one last question from my side. What's going to be your Grail watches?
The Grail watch?
And it's plural, not single.
Oh, jeez.
I don't think you're going to be satisfied by one. With one, no.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't mind buying another Patek. And I know that will come in time. But the one brand that interests me right now is the FP Journes, the brand of FP Journe. That brand really interests me. I don't know if I've reached the level where I want to kind of take the leap into buying a watch from that brand. But I think if I could get in somewhere, I think I would be happy.
So, it's
for now, but you know me, I know.
No, I mean 30 minutes from now, it's gonna be different.
Yeah, an hour from now, we different.
But FP Journe is an amazing watch.
Yeah.
I know there is a lot of like negative propaganda around the brand, but they make good watches.
Yeah, the craftsmanship's unbelievable.
Very good.
I mean, limited in the sense of there aren't like thousands and thousands of pieces being made. You know,
it's very well made. I mean, when I hold the resonance or the centigraph, it is amazing. I mean, craftsmanship.
It's a true collector's piece.
Yes,
you know?
yes. I think so. Even the base elegante. I think
that's quartz. Isn't it? See that? I'm not a quartz fan, to be honest.
I'm not.
If you look at any of my watches in the collection, they're always automatic or manual wound. Had that been automatic, I would have bought it.
And why don't you like quartz watches?
I don't know.
I like asking this question because everyone has a different.
I wonder if that's going back to, you know, when I first bought that Omega Seamaster quartz, and then the reaction of that individual saying, "Oh, you know, that's not the sort of watch to go for. Never buy quartz." I don't know if that negative reaction had an impact. Yeah. Just stuck with me. It's a bit like, I don't know if you know, but I'm vegetarian.
No, I don't.
I'm vegetarian. Why? Because I ate liver once and it wasn't cooked properly. And ever since then, I've had a kind of, I've never been able to eat meat because of the psychological impact it had, the taste.
Oh, okay.
So that one event had a knock-on effect. Yeah. I think that probably had a similar effect as well.
Yes. I understand your point, but you know the Elegante, this watch, it's quartz, but I think it when you take it off, it stops.
Yeah, and then it goes to the right time after you kind of pick it up again, isn't it?
Yeah.
A watch to wear, because I've tried one of them on. Beautiful watch, but it's just, is it worth paying that much money for effectively what it is? It's a quartz watch. I did say this earlier on, I'm not a movement person, so like, you know.
Yeah.
I just go by the looks, and honestly, to look at that on the wrist is a beautiful watch though.
You should check a Langan's on, and
I've tried a few of those on as well. That was actually at one point my Grail watch. I can't remember which specific model it was, but within that range, there was one of those that were, I think it was the platinum one.
They have actually the Zeitwerk, like the
I think that's it.
The digital looking.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Platinum.
Yeah, that Zeitwerk is crazy beautiful. But my Grail watch from them, it's a tourbillon watch. It's beautiful. I mean, the NDCs on the dial is engraved from the dial, you know, so it's not.
But here's a question. Do you think you'll ever achieve that Grail? Or do you think it'll just remain as a wish?
The concept of having a Grail watch, it's one of the things, to be honest, which keeps me moving.
Yeah.
So I wake up maybe 7 a.m. and I work till 7 p.m. Right? one of the things which keep me awake at this point in time is affording MBNF Perpetual Calendar Evo. That's one reason of me living.
Yeah.
In addition to raising the kid and taking care of the family and all of that. It's not only about me affording the watch. It's about me deserving the watch. So I'm sorry, I'm hijacking this. But
No, it's, I've asked that question purposely to kind of understand from your perspective as well. You know?
So the Grail watch for me, it's a goal, right? The watch is not the goal, but it's one of the things which keep you moving forward.
Because it's like a goal in your life that,
Yes.
okay, if I can achieve that, and then once you've achieved it, let me see if I can get to the next level and so
Exactly.
on.
And it's not only about the affordability, if you can afford it or not. It's about you think that you deserve to treat yourself with it or not again. So yeah, the Grail watch is a very crucial topic and very hot topic.
It's like the journey as well that you take. You know, the journey to getting that watch.
Yes,
you know, whether if it's like making those calls, sending those emails, you know, that is the journey, you know, and there's a story then to it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, since you've been collecting since the age of 15, no?
Yeah, let's say properly from the age of 17, properly, like with the real, genuine watches.
So this is considerably long time of collecting. I mean, what's your advice to people collecting or starting to collect?
I mean, I usually give kind of key pieces of advice. Number one is, you know, always buy what you love. And if you're going to buy something, try it on, take a picture, you know, take a video of it, sleep on it, and then make the decision the next day. Don't ever buy it on an impulse.
Yes.
The second one is you've always got to buy the seller. Always. Never buy the deal. Buy the seller. Because sometimes, as you know, with the deals, you could find the deal, but someone's changed the movement, changed the dial, changed the hands, this, that. And you think, okay, I've saved myself $5,000. But in reality, the watch,
you lost 10.
Exactly. But honestly, those two are my biggest ones. When I give myself, you know, that kind of advice when I'm about to buy the watch, I always look back at that. You know, do I want to buy this now? Not what's the future collectability on it going to be like, but will I wear it? Will I enjoy it? And then I sleep on it, and then next day I make that decision.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much for honoring me today. It's been really a blast for me, you know. So for those who are watching us, thank you so much for joining us. This episode is going to be available on YouTube and other podcast platforms. Until next time.